Allah the Father universe.
Allah the Father universe.
The Father love.
Father love.
Truth.
Peace. Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My God.
My God.
And my salvation.
And my salvation.
By night.
By night.
And by day.
And by day.
Through his holy prophet.
Through his holy prophet.
Through our lead.
Through our lead.
Amen.
Amen.
Remain standing if you're able. Good. Islam.
Islam.
First I give praise to Allah,
First I give praise to Allah,
the great God of the universe.
the great God of the universe.
I give honor to his holy divine prophet,
I give honor to his holy divine prophet,
Noble Drew Ali,
Noble Drew Ali,
the founder of the Moorish scientific movement.
the founder of the Moorish scientific movement.
I give honor to the forerunner to the prophet,
I give honor to the forerunners to the prophet,
Brother Marcus God.
Brother Marcus God.
I give honor to all true and divine prophets,
I give honor to all true divine prophets,
Jesus,
Jesus,
Muhammad,
Muhammad,
Buddha,
Buddha,
Confucius,
Confucius,
etc.
etc.
I give honor to the past, supreme grand advisor and moderator of the Moorish scientific movement,
I give honor to the pastors, supreme grand advisors, and moderators of Moorish scientific movement.
Brother C. Kirkland Bay,
Brother C. Kirkland Bay,
Brother Nelson Bay,
Brother F. Nelson Bay,
and Brother J. Blakely Bay.
and Brother J. Blakely Bay.
I give honor to the former past Grand Chief and moderator of the Moorish scientific movement,
I give honor to the former past grand chief and moderator of the Moorish scientific movement,
Brother Allah.
Brother Allah Bill.
I give honor to the present Grand Chief, who is the moderator of the Moorish scientific movement,
I give honor to the present grand chief who is the moderator of the Moorish scientific movement,
Brother R. Jones Bay.
Brother R. Jones Bay.
I give honor to the assistant Grand Chief of the Moorish scientific movement,
I give honor to the assistant grand chief of the Moorish scientific movement,
Brother A. Hopkins Bay.
Brother A. Hopkins Bay.
I give honor to the Grand National Chairman of the Moorish scientific movement,
I give honor to the grand national chairman of the Moorish scientific movement,
Brother P. Chase Hill.
Brother P. Chase Hill.
I give honor to the Grand Governor of Washington, D.C.,
I give honor to the grand governor of Washington, D.C.,
Brother H. Harris Bay,
Brother H. Harris Bay,
and to his assistant,
and to his assistant,
Sister D. Jones Bay.
Sister D. Jones Bay.
I give honor to all national, state, and local officials of the Moorish scientific movement.
I give honor to all national, state, and local officials of the Moorish scientific movement.
I give honor to the American flag,
I give honor to the American flag,
the Moorish flag,
the Moorish flag,
and to our charter.
and to our charter.
I give honor to everything that the prophet brought,
I give honor to everything that the prophet brought
for the uplifting of all humanity.
for the uplifting of all humanity.
I give honor to man.
I give honor to man.
Peace.
Peace.
Salvation, our God, unity. The Moorish scientific of America, the divine constitution of God. At one, the Grand Sheik and the chairman of the Moorish scientific of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the prophet and the grand body of the Moorish scientific of America. The assistant Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all affairs. If he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and is known for the members of the Moorish scientific of America. Act two, all meetings ought to be open and closed promptly according to Chapter 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday, the first man born in flesh, and on a Friday, the first man departed out of flesh, and the sin took by the God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish scientific of America. No member to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister or indicate at all that may harm his brother or sister. Allah love. And 4. All members must observe these holy divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government. Because of being in Moorish America, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish scientific of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the state government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. But first, all members must proclaim their nationality. And we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and a parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaveholders in 1779, and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained no godly the prophet to redeem his people in simple ways. The Moors emerged out of the descendants of ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. That's seven. All members must prophets in their meetings and become a part and a partial of all of lifting after the Moor signs of America. Remember, must pay the dues and keep an eye on the necessities of the Moor signs of America. Then your entire good name of faith. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children. You have the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother, being industrious, and become a part together from the fallen humanity. All Moors must keep their hearts and minds pure with love, and body clean with water. 55 covenants from the Holy Prophet, no God need. The God, Father, God, Allah. No God, the founder, Moors American prayer. Allah, the Father, universe, Father, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my God, and my salvation, by night and by day. His Holy Prophet, God, amen. The Moor signs of America Home Office, 388-7600, Borden Drive, Greenbelt, Maryland, 20768. That's what I read from the Divine Constitution Bible. Now I'd like to read from the questionnaire and additional laws. The questionnaire and additional laws by Prophet Noble Ali. Act 1. Grand sheikhs and governors and heads of all temples, all businesses. Each said temple must be approved by the Prophet Noble Ali. Before acting upon by any members, let it be finance property, or any non-elect that will cause them to sacrifice finance, etc., that will cause the support of any group of members. Any former officer to violate these laws is subject to be removed from his office under heavy restrictions set up by the Prophet of the Grand. Act 2. All members are to attend ad meetings and their public meeting promptly. If a member is found standing around in the meeting period, shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second, he'll be fined $1, which will go to the emergency fund. If a member is working, he must do must be paid. And if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Moorish Investment Fund, because it takes finance to uplift the nation. Act 3. It is lawful and divine duty of every group member, if he is able to finance to aid me and save the nation. And if he does not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people, justice and protection. Let it be he or she according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. As I have the power invested in my hands, I will have to support the Lord and save the nation. Act 4. All members, while making a public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag or speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school. And the team must confirm himself to the questionnaire. And that every member exercise his five senses to be able to do so. Because often in Sunday school can guide us as a nation. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. And we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are impartial of this said government, and know they are not Negroes, fellow folks, black people, or Ethiopians. Because these names were given to slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained no godly the prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moors emerged out of the descendants of the ancient Moabites, who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. And 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part, and a partial of all of lifting after the Most High temple. Members must pay the dues and keep in line all necessities of the Most High temple. Then you are tied to a name of favor. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children. Look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother in their injustice and become part of the others in the fall of humanity. All mortal Americans keep their hearts and minds pure with love, and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from the Holy Prophet, Noble Ali, through the guidance of his Father God, Allah. Peace. Now I'd like to read from the Holy Koran of the Most High to Allah. Divine prayer by the Noble Prophet, Noble Ali. I'd like to read chapter 35, page 42. All instructions from the Prophet religion. There is one Allah, the author, the creator, the governor of the world, almighty, eternal, and incomprehensible. The Son is not Allah, though there is no resemblance. He lightened the world with his brightness. His warmth and life is the product of the earth. Admire him as a creature, the instrument of Allah, and worship him not. To the one who is supreme, most wise and beneficent, and to him alone belong worship, adoration, thanksgiving, and praise. Who has stretched forth the heavens with his hands, who has described with the finger the courses of the stars, who set his bounds to the ocean that it cannot pass, and safe to stormy winds be still, who shake the earth and the nations tremble, who dares the lightning and wicked are dismayed, who call forth words by the words of his mouth, who smite with his arms, and they sink it to nothing. O reverence the majestic of the omnipotent, and tempt not his anger, lest I be destroyed. The providence of Allah is of all his works. He ruleth and directeth with infinite wisdom. Peace.
Peace.
Islam, boys.
Islam.
I'd like to welcome all to our Sunday school. And as I just read, I'll be in Sunday school come to God and the nation. We've been instructed by Grand Secret with the moderator of the Morris House of America on stage. I pray that we have a good Sunday school today, and that everybody needs letters or anything, you can raise your hand, and my people will assist you. If you need water or anything, raise your hand, my people will assist you. If you have any questions or anything like that, you know, you can raise your hand. Instructor will instruct. I'll be right here.
I would say we do silent meditation while we wait.
I will. Thank you. So anybody out there, come on. Anybody ready? Please, yes. It's almost. Right in Baltimore, it just came out. Just a few of those instructions. You need learn to raise your hand up to the assist you. You need water, raise your hand up to the assist you. Also, if you have any questions by the instructor or the instructor, please raise your hand and state your name for the record. Keep out that respect. Okay. So, without further ado, I'd like to call for the Grand Secret with the moderator of the Morris Time to the America of our John Bates to instruct our It's on.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Allah the Father, the universe,
Love,
Allah the love, truth,
peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation. By night and by day, through his holy prophet, you are me. Amen.
praise the Lord. Islam.
Islam.
All right, let's begin. Okay. Before we begin, what do you think the most important element that we need to learn as a people so that we may contribute to our advancement? What do you think of all the things that we need to learn? Should we learn? I mean, yeah, what's one of the most important things that you think that we need to learn to help us to improve ourselves as a nation? Come on, my sister.
Islam's civilization and ourselves.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Come on, Mo.
Brother J. Trump Neal for the record. I've been concentrating on thinking that we should learn to know our Father, God of law.
Okay, that's good. That's real good. Come on, man.
This is Brother J. Crawford here for the brother. You say one of them, so
Yeah.
I think it's quite a.
It's a number. Yeah, it's a number of them. Yeah,
Okay, one thing also is thinking our condition can be better.
that's good. That's good. What's going to say, sister? All right, man.
Islam, I was thinking I had know thyself and the Father God of law and learn to love instead of hate.
That's good. That's good. Come on, sister Delia.
Listening
Listening. Yeah, that's good.
and patience with that while you listening.
Yeah, that's real good. That's real good. You know, my sister,
Islam,
Sister T. McGee, baby.
Sister Amy.
I mean, thank you.
One thing that I'd say is that we would need to learn is sincerity in the things that we do and how we act towards each other.
That's good. Sincerity in the things we do and how we act towards each other. That's good. Yeah. Yeah. Come on, sister Joe. How to submit. That's good. That's good. Come on.
I'm here to learn myself.
Who else? That's good. Come on.
Brother L. Herman, made for the record. Perseverance and humility.
Perseverance and humility. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. Come on.
Brother J. Trump Neal for the record. How to be kind to each other.
Well, that's important. Very important. That's good. Who else? May I add mine?
Sure. Practice.
We need to learn how to communicate.
Mhm.
Talk to each other.
Yeah, that's just mine from my perspective. I'm not discounting any that you all have made because those are excellent.
All of them was good.
All of them are excellent. But mine was that what I have been thinking about is that we need to learn how to communicate. Why do you think communication? I'll just use communication as the topic of discussion. You know, to start out with. Why do you think we need to learn to communicate? How to communicate? Come on, Brother Lee.
Well, the instruction is for our own improvement.
Yes.
You know, and this is the way that we don't communicate so that we understand. We try to communicate so the next person can understand what we might be trying to convey.
Okay. All right. Come on, Sister Debbie.
And also communication bring about unity.
It can. It can. It really can. Yeah. That's right. That's right.
It's,
Come on, brother.
it's Crawford. Also, communication can bring about understanding
It can. It can. No
and
problem.
respect.
It can. That's both. You're right. Come on, man.
You know, I was thinking about, and I may not be in the right area, but I was thinking about infinity with language to
Okay.
improve our society.
Okay.
So communication will help us be able to improve our society
Yeah.
because we could have conversations that will bring about more harmonious conditions.
Okay.
If we take the time to use the language that he gave us for the right reason.
Okay. So, what, come on, Sheila.
Also give you a chance to see how the other person is thinking.
It does.
Praise the Lord, that's right.
Yes.
It does. It does. It does. Because, you know, communication is the projection of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Communications help. When you communicate and it's done properly, you manifest something. Because your communication is the way you what? It's the way you think. So that means that if you're thinking a certain way, you're going to project it. It's going to be shown. You very well can't talk about the prophet's teachings if you're up there shouting and hollering and cursing at a person. If that's your means of communication, then that communication is ineffective. Because what do you focus on? What would you be focusing on?
On the loudness.
The loudness, right. And what happens when in loudness?
It goes one ear and come out the other.
That's right.
All of them is not in the northern tongue.
That's right. And what? Shallow men judge married by what?
No.
So who would you be attracting?
Shadow.
The shallow thinkers. The shallow thinkers. So in communication, this prophet is teaching us what? How to do what? How to communicate. What does he say? What does he say? How to communicate. How are we to communicate? Under intelligent what?
Tone.
Under an intelligent tone. Why is it important that you learn how to talk under an intelligent tone? Come on, Bob.
Islam, Brother M. Dixon here. When you communicate, it says communicate to the ignorant for their instruction, communicate to the wise for thine own improvement. And when you're doing it in an intelligent tone, you are able to educate the ignorant because they won't be taking you the wrong way and won't be able to hear without their passions.
Okay.
So when you communicate, in an intelligent tone, they will receive it better. And that way you can educate them on the things that they don't know. And the wise, they will constantly communicate to each other for their own improvement.
Okay. Come on, now.
It's not, J. Cole there. And usually more when you communicate with someone, if it's negative off the break or the beginning,
Right.
usually the whole encounter just
Right.
goes south.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
If you come up the mouth wrong
Right.
at the beginning of your encounter with a person,
Right.
usually the whole situation just goes to the left.
Right. And
You can diffuse it at times, though.
Right.
Usually, it's going to be back with a negative response,
Right.
verbally.
Right. Or they're gonna turn you off.
Right.
I ain't trying to hear that like that.
Yeah.
So we're saying we're still in the soul when you communicate intelligently. It's still to hear, the intelligence.
Say that first part again.
It stills the soul.
Okay, I can hear that. Because see, the soul will react.
Exactly.
Okay, it can misinterpret and it can react. Okay, come on, Sister Jones. That's who? Oh, my sister, yes.
I was gonna say, when you're using an intelligent tone, it also allows the person who's delivering the message to be more selective with their word choice,
That's right.
so that it can come across to the person in a better way.
Okay,
Even
that's
if
right.
it is something that they don't necessarily want to hear.
That's right. Because if you talk loud, if we get too loud and out of ourselves, what do we disturb? The ethers. Remember, we are controlling of the ethers.
Mm-hmm.
So we want the ethers we want to have the advantage of having the ethers be able to support a way of talking that will make it easy to what?
Receive. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not J. Cole there. So this prophet speak about the family.
Yeah.
In literature.
Yeah.
Something about the fact you not to use it in the loudest
Yeah.
Malice matter.
Yeah,
Matter, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Profane words is just negative from the beginning
That's right.
of trying to communicate with someone.
Remember, the word creates the condition. How you present the word creates the condition. If you want somebody to hear what you're saying, you have to be careful how you speak. See, we in here, the Morris Science of America, we're privileged to be able to learn what we learn. But sometimes our delivery makes it appear that we're trying to tell people like we're the most intelligent.
Exactly,
And they don't know what they're talking about.
exactly.
And even though we're blessed to know what we know, how you impart what you know will determine as to whether someone really is receptive to what you're saying.
That's not.
Brother Perman Baden,
You know, and in the intelligent tone, it doesn't disturb, like you and Brother Chase Hill say, the rhythm and the vibration.
right,
You know, because the words come off and you can receive it better.
right,
And the vibration and the rhythm,
right,
you know, you can feel it in your spirit.
right. Vibrations are very important.
Yes, sir.
Why? Why do you think?
Because it's part of, the vibration is part of the ethers that you put out there.
Okay, all right. Okay, come on, baby.
Yes, you know, I was thinking about, Brother Leader, and this is something that I learned, but I haven't grasped it totally. Is when you communicate with someone, you must put yourself in their shoes.
Right,
So you got to consider
right,
how would you
right,
want something told to you,
right,
and in the process of thinking that way,
right,
then you have to consider that may be the way they might see how they want to respond to you.
right,
It goes back to what I was thinking, wise citizens.
right,
See, sometimes we can be ready to say what we need to say, and I'm learning this. Our emotions
right,
get in the way of our communication.
right,
Because once the emotions stir up,
right,
we have no control
right,
on how things come out. And we may intend on saying it one way,
right,
but once the emotions stir up, a lot of times it comes out in a manner which may not be best for us to receive.
right.
So I think putting yourself in I try to do better with it is, how can I tell this person
Right,
this without allowing them to feel that I'm downing them or saying something that is derogatory to them? How would I want to receive that?
right,
We got to consider that.
right,
Because see, sometimes we be ready to say what we want to say, but we don't consider the other person's feelings.
right, right,
And we don't know the level of their feelings.
right.
So that's something I think.
Let me ask you this. You said something about how do you put yourself in the other person's place? How do you leave yourself and put yourself in the other person's place? What must you be void of? Do you know what void means? Absence of.
Yeah.
Well, how do you take yourself
Uh-huh.
and put yourself in Sister A. McGee's place when you get ready to depart somewhere?
You ask me? Okay. Yeah. Well, one of the things I think about is recognizing my own imperfections.
Okay,
Recognizing what may disturb me.
okay,
Recognizing that certain things that are said to me,
okay,
the way they are said to me,
okay,
may not sit well with me.
okay,
So I may not know whether they do or not, but I got to consider those things.
right,
See, so what I'm looking at, what you look at is what disturbs you,
right,
what bothers you,
right,
what sets your emotions off.
right, right,
Now that don't mean they might do them, but you got to consider it. So you get a little more cautious
right,
in how you deliver things.
right, right.
You know.
Come on.
Brother Jason there for the record.
Brother who?
Brother Jay Thompson there for the record. I'm just thinking that when I be communicating with someone,
Right,
it's like I listen to a person,
okay,
to see where the conversation going.
right,
You see, and I notice we always use rhythm,
right,
because I use rhythm in the work I do.
right,
Right. You know what I mean? As being humble. Right. A lot. Right. It controls a lot of business. Okay. Because if business go out of hand, okay, then you still gotta humble yourself. Okay. Like Governor said, you can't let your emotion get caught up in the situation. Okay. Okay. Because if it does, okay, that throws out the risk. That throws off the risk. Okay. Okay. All right. Sister, Brother Morris, right? That's praise the Lord. His sister, come on.
I hear, speaking under an intelligent tone, I hear a desired result. Because in that statement, I have quoted verbatim when talk going to City Hall. Right. And speaking under an intelligent tone, right, and they will render you a favorable reply. Right. Now, I take that within life. Just having a plain conversation with a person, what's the result? What's the favorable result that you're trying to receive? Whether you trying to get an answer for something that you've been thinking about. Right. Whatever it is important for us to speak under that intelligent tone. Right. Because what is you trying to get out of the conversation or communication? Right.
Come on, Sister Foster. It's Sister B. Foster Ill. I'm thinking about having mutual respect for that person. Okay. Because a lot of times, if you don't have respect for that person, right, your tone, right, is going to bring it out a certain way. Right. I don't care what kind of word you use. Right. It's going to just project that word if you don't have that mutual respect for that person. Right. Come on, man.
This is Brother Gracie. I'm listening to the conversation, and I hear a lot of verbal communication. But communication can be writing and gesturing. Right. You can get more than just a verbal conversation. Right. And you can get something from it. Right. So we have to look at all of it.
What's the most important thing that one has to remember in their manner of communicating?
The intent.
Intent, yes, that's good. Delivery, that's good. But it's something else. Your tone is important, of course. That's good. But it's something else. The word coming in.
The spirit.
It's more like coming from a peaceful place.
Okay. Come on, dear.
I was saying the spirit. All of us carry the spirit of Allah. So
Yeah.
when we communicate with each other, we need to remember we're communicating with Allah.
Yeah.
Within.
Yeah. That's good.
And that might tone us down in our words and our acts.
Right. That's true. But remember, when we are in communication with each other, we have to remember not to speak from a selfish perspective.
Mm-hmm.
That's real.
See, we can be selfish when we are trying or attempting to impart information or to hold a conversation. Being selfish is only doing what? Looking at it from your
Point of view.
Yeah.
But we living two lives. We our Lord self, our high self. So you're living two lives. So you try to stay in the tone of the prophet. Try to imitate his ways. So when you come into someone that's not familiar with Moorish Temple or the prophet, know what you are leaving. They might come out the mouth wrong about the temple, about the prophet. You understand? So that don't give you a reason to jump out that your high step into your low step because somebody said something wrong. You got to stay on your foundation, more. No change, nothing changed that.
I read somewhere where it was said that Jesus did not imbue a lot of words in communicating like those around him did, specifically the Pharisees and the right. Which seemed was something means to use wastefully.
Right.
I would think that if I wanted to communicate almost anything to anybody, my first thought is, how can my words, my comments serve them?
Right.
because most of the time, I know that when I need somebody to talk to me, I'm seeking some information, some direction, some ministry, in this life, anyway, in this lifestyle of Islamism. So that's my first abiding principle. What can I say to be of service to their uplifting, to their mood, to their condition? Because if I want my condition to be better, I know that at that moment, they're probably seeking the same thing.
Okay, I like that, What about this one? What, in your speaking, when we speak to each other, what is an important ingredient that we must have when we're speaking to one another? What is an ingredient that we must have in our possession when we're speaking to one another?
Reason.
Huh?
Reason.
Reason, yes.
Love.
Tone, love, yes. Respect, yes.
Truth.
Yes.
Truth.
Patience.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Kindness.
Yes. But to stick it directly with the book. Speak in what? Sincerity. If we're gonna hold a conversation, we got to be what? Honest and sincere.
That's right, absolutely right.
And our intent must be honest and sincere.
Come on.
Better bet it.
Because if you're not speaking in sincerity, you're not what?
Being truthful.
You're not being truthful, but you're not hearing.
That's right.
You're not hearing. I don't hear you if I'm just trying to impress you with some things that I have gathered along the way in this lifespan. If I'm trying to make you think that I'm smarter than what I am, the whole purpose of the conversation has been defeated. So therefore, when we talk, we got to be what? We got to be real. And I'm sincerely trying to impart to you what just happens to have been made known to me, and not saying that just because I'm saying it is right.
Unless you're in the business of deceiving.
Yes, yeah. And making you think that everything I say is right. Come on, baby.
Son, the book says hypocrisy and deceit has no place in the word.
That's right.
And that ought to be
It should be.
principle of life which the thinking person communicates.
Yeah.
You're going to be held to account for what you say
Everything
out
you
your
say.
mouth.
That's right.
And I'd like to also add this.
Yeah.
Although the book says we accommodate ourselves to all,
Right.
does not mean that just because we are keeping it real, we have to utilize the language of the hood, the street, the vernacular of the media. We also need to remember that if we're trying to communicate some information to somebody, try to bring them up instead of us having to come down.
Right. Right. Well, that's why he informed us about profanity.
That's right.
Don't use it
In the mouth.
in the mildest form.
That's right.
That's just why he talks about profanity. Because you call into existence by your words certain spirits
That's right.
that can defeat the conversation before you even get started.
Better bet it.
Come on.
You know what, Brother Lee,
Yeah.
when you said what you said, when you think about, I was thinking about this. The way we go into a conversation sets the stage for how the conversation gonna be.
Right,
So if we go in there with any intent other than to be sincere,
right,
the results gonna be the way we went in it.
right,
Because we set the stage by the way we're thinking in the process.
right,
That's why our intent is very important.
right.
But if you go in there sincere, you may receive a sincere conversation. But if you go in there with any malice or behind the scenes way of doing it,
Right.
when the results don't come, when you look at the results, all you do is go back and evaluate the way you was thinking
Right.
when you went in there.
Right.
So why do you expect it to be a favorable conversation? Look how you went in there.
Yeah.
You know, something about it.
See, the key is about the flow.
Yes.
We're talking about the flow of the conversation. The flow is based on the current. See, we're trying to keep the current in flow with what we're trying to impart, meaning everyone feels as though they can contribute. But they learn that wise sentences are uttered in due season. So they just not blabbing out. You're just not shouting out saying anything just because you want to join in the conversation, but the words that you're speaking are misplaced. You disturb the current. You interrupt the flow.
What, can I say something?
Just like that.
No, can I say something?
Oh, hold up. You can, but hold up.
Go ahead.
But just like that. You disturb the current. You interfere with the flow. Because something is being interjected in the inappropriate time. You disturb the rhythm.
It's supposed to be Sunday school.
You're doing it again. See, you're still doing it. You're still doing it. And I'm not saying this because, man, I'm offended at, or I'm not trying to do it for that reason. I'm trying to point something out to you. A lot of times when you make statements, it's not at the proper time. And you disturb the flow. Sometimes you have some very valuable things to say, but it's misspoken in the wrong time. If you learn how to just be patient, you'll be given an opportunity to express yourself. But not every time you raise your hand. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Because for us to develop the communication skills that's required for a nation to grow and develop in a way that shows the adherence and the submission to God, we got to learn how to talk to one another. We got to, and when to talk. He says to us, what? Wise sinners are uttered in due season. So we're trying to get in accord with the due season. And that's incumbent on all of us to work on ourselves. That's not just pointed at one person. Everybody, all of us can work on ourselves. Because that's the only way we're going to learn how to talk to one another. And until we learn how to talk to one another, we will continue to put stumbling blocks before us, because when you speak out of turn, it causes emotional response. Yeah.
Islam, praise Allah, Brother G. Focus, baby. Praise Allah, Prophet. I learned from Brother Lovely a long time ago. Sometimes you got to let the finger of silence rest upon your lips.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Praise Allah.
But you got to learn discipline.
That's what he meant.
You got to learn discipline, and you got to learn self-control. Come on.
Brother J. Trump here for the record. I can recall my mom used to always say, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth. You should do more listening than talking. And many of our people out of the gym, work around the gym, I work around a lot of guys that do a lot of talking and stuff like that. But I learned just to be humble, because a lot of times the conversation might go way out there. And I just, step off. And I was also told, you gotta look beyond the person. You gotta look within. There's always got a lot within us. So I'm working with that.
We all working with that. We all working with that. Ain't nobody in here, they ain't fixed it. Let's keep that in mind. None of us in here are perfect. We're all in here still striving to learn how to get along with one another.
Yes. That's right.
That's what we look at. One of the things that we got to do, but you can't learn how to get along with each other till you learn how to talk to one another.
That's it. That's it.
Come on.
I just have a question that's in line with, let's say I have my intent
Right.
is to, just for an example, just to bring harmony.
Right.
That's my intent. Start off with that.
Right.
And then I come in an intelligent tone.
Right.
I try to use the prophets, teachers,
Right.
those things.
Right.
But then, if a person is abstinent in the way that they are thinking and they're holding a certain thought,
Right,
even if I did try to do those things to bring them a favorable reply,
right.
what other methods other than, just trying to get, because otherwise you would, I guess my point is like, because I've tried those things in the past, and even if you said certain things in a certain tone, it's still not received that way because the person is already holding a certain kind of thought.
Right.
What is there to do there in those regards? Because you want harmony, and you try to do those things. You start from like you say, start from the ground. You do the intent. You try to have your intentions right, and those things like that. But if a person is, because it's not just going to magically happen just because your intent right or your tone is right. It's not necessarily going to happen in those sequences. Yeah. So, but you still got to get along. You still got to, and so what is, maybe some.
You got to learn to use science.
Yeah.
Remember, he also informed us that the finger of silence rests on our lips too. We got to know when to speak it, when to continue to indulge it, and when to let it go. See, you got to know when to hold and when to fold.
That's it, right?
Because see, remember, he's not going to wake all the Ajax up at once. So if you're going to come in contact with a lot of Ajax, it's not awakened.
Yes.
So now you got to learn how to accommodate yourself to all by learning how to communicate. Like Brother Cabinet Spain was saying, sometimes you got to go in. You can't say nothing.
That's right.
Because your words may create more of a problem.
That's right.
So what do I do now? Let me learn how to use the science of gestures. Let me go to my nonverbal communication.
That's right.
Okay.
I don't know, but I gotta, but you gotta go to nonverbal. You gotta go. If they hear it, they hear it. If they don't, they don't.
That's right.
See, but what you do is important, not what their response is. You may not get the favorable reply, but that should not stop you from seeking.
Accountability.
You got to know. Come on.
You know one thing I think about, Brother Lee, we talk about this a lot of times, communication, and the question always I ask myself, why we don't communicate?
Right.
Why we don't learn how to communicate? The book tells us about it.
Right.
But the thing I come to mind is either we don't want to or we don't like each other.
Right. Well, right.
See, because most of the time you communicate with people you like.
Right. Right.
I'm just being honest.
Right.
And we don't have a problem with it.
Right.
But the thing I'm learning is we got to learn how to communicate with each other.
Right.
So we might want to evaluate our relationship to one another.
Right. But you know what, babe? And I can hear what you're saying in that regard, but let's think about something.
Come on.
We have had another set of teachings implemented.
Yeah, and I agree with you, sir.
We have been taught how to communicate.
And we were discouraged from talking and learning how to talk to one another.
I agree with you too, sir.
Exactly.
And what has happened is,
Come on.
we have brought it over with us.
There you go.
What we're trying to do now is learn how to put that aside because those teachers are not effective for what we're trying to accomplish.
There you go. Come on.
And so we got to go through something to get to that point. But that's why it's important that we develop communication skills so that when we do act out of ourselves, we can intelligently address it. Because if I remember correctly, I was taught how to address certain behaviors over there.
Yeah,
And what I would say to help correct that is totally out of order.
exactly.
Because see, I begin to call them names and, and that's not the way to do it. So we're finding a more effective way of developing ourselves so that our nation will always represent intelligent behavior. Yeah.
And it's also a more spiritual one.
Yes. Yes.
We're not dealing with, we're trying not to deal with one another from a worldly perspective. We're trying to remember these divine lessons, which will put us in a different frame of mind and have us coming from a different place than we used to come Allah, we think about God, that will help us to stop and think again about how we want to say what we're trying to say.
Look, that's right. Look, I want to say this too. Because I know a lot of times we do things and we're not conscious of what we're doing. But you know, your voice carries it here. So that means when you have conversations, other than the conversation that's being held, that's disrespectful. We want to keep in mind that we don't want to do that. If it's something that you have to say to somebody, then you need, with the person that you're speaking to, if in fact they agree, remove yourself. Go in another area. Say what you got to say. Then once you say it, then you come back. But don't hold no, be careful when you hold them conversations because you are heard and you're interfering with the person that's giving the response. And the response is to the topic of discussion that we're talking about. Come on.
It's fine. I was thinking also how we pick up things from others,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's how we learned how to communicate and defend ourselves by the loud noise and stuff. We got to now learn that we cannot demonstrate things that we see from others.
Yeah.
That we got to learn how to ignore it and know the right thing, how to approach different things, how to hear different things and stuff, instead of imitating the other person.
Okay. Come on.
No, Brother Jay, something good for the record. And more, I was just thinking, do I have a problem if I just love everybody? I might not like their ways, but I just love everybody. You know what I'm saying? I just love everybody, man. You know what I mean? And, I might have to ask the question, do I have a problem? No, because I should be the one that do all the wild stuff and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm not getting all from me. Just long as make you love everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I might not like your ways, and I might not show it, but I might not like your ways. I just love everybody. You know what I mean? That's why I want to ask. Do I have a problem? Because I hear everybody saying, "I love instead of hate." I love everybody.
Praise the Lord.
You know what I mean? Can't nobody make me upset.
Mo. Yeah. Mo, be careful what you're saying.
Okay. I'm asking the question.
Because you're going to be challenged.
I'm asking the question.
I'm going to say this. I'm
That's
asking
true.
this one. You're challenging yourself.
That's right.
Because you're going to find out if in fact you do love everybody. I pray you do.
Yeah, I do. I'm being
That's
challenged every day.
You're going to be challenged even more.
Even more, yeah. But I already know. I don't let nobody hurt me. You know what I mean? But I'm saying, I love everybody. I don't let nobody hurt me. I love everybody. You know what I mean?
We gotta go to the question.
But let's ask my question.
Remember, I said words of spirit, and you create with what you say, and you're going to have to be held accountable for what you create.
Right.
Therefore, you must always be careful what you say out of your mouth. See, there are things that we haven't experienced yet, but those things are far beyond our imagination. And those things are created just to get us to call attention to ourselves that we have to be careful with what we say because we create stumbling blocks, obstacles for ourselves. And so you gotta be careful, especially when you put it out. See, you're wrestling with it when it's inside you. But when you put it out, you create another type of condition. So I pray that you do. And I pray that I am as fortunate as you are to be able to learn to do that too, because I don't love everybody. That's just the way it is. I'm learning to do it.
You try that around.
Yeah.
Say you about that around. Yeah. You straighten it out. Say people have been around, you know. All right.
But anyway, let's go to the question. Try to get this in so we can do That's nice to be able to see that. You know, to want to have a desire to do that, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. That's my, I should use that word, that's my desire.
That's your desire.
Right.
That's it. That's it. Who made it?
Allah.
Who is Allah?
Allah.
Can we see it?
No.
Where is the nearest place we can be?
In the heart.
Who is noble duality?
He is Allah's prophet.
What is a prophet?
A prophet is the Allah manifested in the flesh.
What is the duty of a prophet?
Saving nations from the wrath of Allah.
Who was the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America?
Noble duality.
What year was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded?
1913 AD.
Where?
Newark, New Jersey.
Where was Noble Duality born?
State of North Carolina, 1886.
What is his nationality?
Moorish American.
What is your nationality?
Moorish American.
Why are we Moorish American?
Because we are descendants of Abraham and born in America.
For what purpose was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded?
For the uplifting and forming humanity.
How did the prophet begin to uplift the Moorish Americans?
By teaching them to be themselves.
What is our religion?
Islam.
Is that a new or is that the old time religion?
Old time religion.
What kind of a flag is the Moorish?
Is the red flag with 5 white green stars.
What do the 5 points represent?
Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
How old is our flag?
It is over 10,000 years old.
Which is our holy day?
Friday.
Why?
Because Friday is the day on which man was formed in flesh. His own Friday,
Who is Jesus?
he's a prophet of Allah.
Brother, Dickinson Bay. You've been working with her, huh? Well, I want to acknowledge it. I want to acknowledge it. Huh? Dixon Hill, I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I want to acknowledge it. You know? Yeah, for real. Praise God. Praise God. Who was Jesus?
He was a prophet of Allah.
Where was he born?
Bethlehem, Judah, the house of David.
Who were his father and mother?
Joseph and Mary.
Will you give a brief the line genealogy through which Jesus came?
Some of the great fathers through which Jesus came are Abraham, Boaz, David, Jesse, King David, Solomon, Hezekiah, and Joseph on earth.
Why did Allah send Jesus to the earth?
Say that the Lord's and I had questions of the skin nations of Europe who governed the portion outside at that time.
Okay, now what is the important word in that particular stuff? Focus on the important word.
Save.
Save. Okay. We're focusing on that word. To save the Israelites. We're going into chapter 16. And you know he was crucified for having the desire to do what? Save. So that means you can be trying to do something good, but you can always expect the same thing in return.
That's right.
So we may as well get ready for that. Everybody's not always going to treat you the way you think you should be treated just because you say Islam. Just because you pray together and you read the teachings of the Prophet Noble Duality, do not think that everyone has reached a point where they can always exhibit that. But don't you get so frustrated that you say, I'm not even dealing with them no more.
That's the move. Come on, brother. That's it.
Don't get frustrated.
Come on, man. Listen.
Because you don't get what you think you should get when you have assessed to yourself, I'm applying these teachings.
Listen.
I'm supposed to be getting more than it. And then look, you get caught up with talking about, and be careful with this. You get caught up with saying this. You know, he should be doing that. She should be doing that. See, now you calling what they should be doing based on what? Your perception of what should be done. And you don't understand that you're now doing what? Making a judgment call. You can't judge nobody, nor can you determine where somebody should be along the way in this life. Because we don't know what they've been through.
That's right. Especially if you ain't judged yourself.
That's right. That's right. Be careful from becoming judgmental.
Yes.
The person hasn't been able, you say, well, they've been in the temple. What difference does it make how long you've been in there? It may just dawn on you today what you've been trying to figure out for 20 years.
That's right. That's a true bit. That's right.
Stuff don't come to you overnight. It comes by trial and error, trial and error, trial and error. So let's be careful when we get hard, because we can become very hard on people. You know? Come on.
I was thinking about the buffeting and woe.
Yeah.
Many guys.
Many guys. That's right.
Many guys.
That's right, Lord. That's right, Lord. That's right. So yeah. And all this has to do with communication.
Yeah.
All right. Come on, my sister.
It's Sister Amy Bay for the record. I think what you just said also displays of lack of empathy.
Yes.
When you're not able to put yourself in somebody else's
That's
shoes,
right. That's right.
Come on, put
you're
it
not
on.
able to see what they go through, nor do you want to see it. So you just have this one-sided judgment of it. And yeah, it's harmful more than it's helpful.
That's right.
Especially if you're voicing your opinion about it.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
Praise the Lord.
Come on, Crawford. That's your hand?
No, we get it.
Brother Jackson.
I want to, you know, when I say my Morris prayer, and when I leave the house after saying that prayer, I have strongly belief in that prayer. So whatever occurred during that period of the day, I feel like I'm protected. Lord, all the way down the line. Lord, my protected, my God, my salvation. He's all that. So I don't have nobody else to fault if I don't get this. Things don't go in. Who I turn to? Can I get mad at him? Can I get upset? You supposed to guide me. You supposed to protect me. This is my prayer that I'm saying every day. 2 times a day. And I have strong belief in that prayer.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
So I don't have to go no further. I feel secure right there.
That's great.
Praise God.
Praise the Lord. That's true. Chapter 16. Pilate's final effort to release Jesus fails. He washes his hands in feigned innocence. Delivers Jesus to the Jews for execution. The soldiers drive him to Calvary. A superstitious people are the Jews. They have a faith that they have borrowed from the idol worshippers of other lands. That at the end of every year, they may heap all their sins upon the head of some man set apart to bear their sins. The man becomes a scapegoat for the multitude. And they believe that when they drive him forth into the wild, or into foreign lands, they are released from sin. So every spring the feast, so every spring before the feast, they choose a prisoner from the prisons of the land. And by a form of their own, they fain would make him bear their sins away. Among the Jewish prisoners in Jerusalem were 3 who were the leaders of a vile, seditious band, who had engaged in theft and murders and rapine, and had been sentenced to be crucified. Barabbas and Josiah were among the men who were to die. But Barabbas was rich and had bought off priests the boon to be the scapegoat for the people at the coming feast. And he was anxiously awaiting for his hour to come. Okay, let's stop there for a minute. Where is the problem? Where is the problem? The problem is identified. What is the problem?
The superstition.
The what?
Superstition.
The superstition. The superstition. Why is the superstition a problem? Because it starts out with saying that superstitious people are the Jews. So what does that tell you about the people? Say it. Yeah, they were superstitious. They're false. They're what? They're laboring under a what concept? False concept. So how can what? your actions be right.
That's right.
You have no rule over your life. Therefore, how can you see that love divine is going to be nailed to the cross? How can you understand that the person that you are saying that should be crucified is the very one that shouldn't be crucified? How can you tell the one from the other?
Truth first.
And that's how you live it.
Glory and shame.
It's misplaced. Why? Superstition. Do you know the damage that superstition do to people?
Yes.
Yeah.
It puts in a false way of thinking. And you react based on that false way of thinking.
Yes.
Come on, Mark.
The inside.
It is literally putting the merely ideas of man
Yes.
in the place of divine
Yes.
rules.
Yes. Yes. But suppose that now, but here is the dangerous part. We don't even know divine.
That's what it is.
We're laboring under not knowing divine. We don't even know the concept of divine. Because our thought pattern is based on superstition. Come on.
So we have to be careful on what step of belief we place our
Yes.
thoughts on.
Yes. Because, hey, what step of belief are you founded on? What's your foundation? To say that that step of belief is founded where it needs to be founded to help us to start to grow and develop to make the what? Proper decisions. Remember, we're still learning right from wrong. We're still learning truth from error. We're still learning how to identify truth and falsehood. We're still learning how to function in the world of illusion. After having accepted the illusionary way of thinking. Remember, we're still learning this stuff.
Yes.
Believe me, and when you take a measure of where you were yesterday as opposed to where you are today, then you can start to see a difference in your behavior and what it is allowing you to experience. Think about under no understanding of the illusion before, and think about the things that you experienced. Now think about now, since the light has been just exposed you to the light now, and think about the things you experienced.
Yeah.
They ain't as bad as they used to be.
That's right.
And the way I respond is not like I used to.
Exactly.
And because of that, my life is getting better. I'm seeing another side of life. All right. It says, Barabbas and Jazir were among the men who were to die. But Barabbas was rich and had bought off priests the boon to be the scapegoat for the people at the coming feast. And he was anxiously in waiting for his hour to come. Now Pilate thought to turn this superstition to account to save the Lord Jesus. And so he went before the Jews and said, listen what he said. What did Pilate seek to do? Turn what? The superstition to his advantage. So that means now, if the people are superstitious, now they're being controlled by superstition.
Manipulated.
The manipulation. But I can tell what you're going to do based on the superstitious beliefs that you have accepted. So I can keep you in a certain state. I can control you based on your acceptance of a false concept. And as long as you hold on to that concept, even the smallest part, I got some kind of control over you. Because I'm in there. So now what we got to learn, we got to get it out of us.
That's right.
But it takes work.
Yes.
And besides, if you take something out, you've got to put something in it. But you got to be careful that you don't reinforce what you're taking out. Because the glory and the shame has been misplaced. Make sure we're not the ones who misplaced it. Yeah.
And you have to see, to take it out, you gotta see something wrong with it.
Yes, you got to.
You got to see something wrong.
Yeah.
Some of those things,
Yeah.
we have benefited.
Yes. Yes.
Whether it was to our, when I mean benefit, like the luck thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see, we held on to it because we had received certain things from that concept.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it right,
Yeah.
but we received it, and we use that as a way of continuing to try to receive.
Yeah.
So you gotta want to get rid of it.
Babe, I hit the lotto. If I hit the lotto for 100,000, and I thought, say I hit the lotto. Say I hit the lotto for 100,000.
Come on, man, listen.
Yeah. And I attribute it to good luck.
That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what
You think I'm gonna let luck go?
Come on, man. That's what I'm talking about.
For real.
That's what I'm talking about.
And you can know about this.
Yes.
But I had some good luck. I ain't letting luck go.
Come on, man.
Think about it.
Yes, be real with you.
So you reinforce your superstitious beliefs. Come on.
Or the lucky rabbit's foot becomes an idol.
Whatever it is.
Yeah. Anything that you put into place,
Yes.
right,
Yes.
of what is
Yes.
or
Yes.
out.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Praise God.
Because look, luck has now taken the place of God.
There you
Yeah.
go. Come on. Yes.
Come on.
I remember one of the superstitions I held on coming up. Remember, like you and your woman used to be walking down the street and y'all couldn't split the pole?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Mom.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of
And,
Yeah.
and the mirror, 7 years bad enough to break a mirror.
Yeah, Mom.
Yeah, all the superstitions we held on coming up.
Yeah. Because more.
Moon touching.
And more. It puts a series of events that start to take place in place, a way of thought. See, it triggers a certain way of thinking.
Yes, it does.
And it controls you.
Yes, it
And
does.
see, if you don't address that way of thinking, you hold on to it.
And it's not based on reason.
It's not no reason. No reason. So it says, now Pilate thought to turn the superstition to account to save the Lord Jesus. And so he went before the Jews and said, you men of Israel, according to my custom, I will release to you today a prisoner who shall bear your sins away. This man you drive into the wilds or in foreign lands. And you have asked me to release Barabbas, who has been proven guilty of the murder of a score of men. Now hear me, men. Let Jesus be released, and let Barabbas pay his debt upon the cross. Then you can send this Jesus to the wilds and hear no more of him. And what the ruler said, the people were enraged. You hear what they said? They were enraged. What does that mean?
Angry.
Angry? What else does it mean? Living. What else does it mean?
Extremely wrathful.
Really? I mean, they were upset that you would even propose this to let this man go and crucify the man we want. And the man we want has been proven guilty of the murder of a score of men. Look at the thinking.
Look at the greed.
Look at it. But look at the condition or the mental functioning of a nation of people.
Mm.
And they was contradicting themselves.
Yes, they were.
On one hand, you want to be superstitious
Yes.
in a custom
Yes.
that you've adopted.
Yes.
But the minute it's offered to you to execute it,
Then you want.
you don't want to use it.
That's right. That's right. But the thing is, but still under the influence of it. Of course.
And more, this was his final effort too, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
That's what stood out to me, his final effort.
yeah, yeah. Because as you read the history of the event, you see that he had tried a number of things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
You know, way I'm looking at the word rage. It say rage is a strong anger that is difficult to control.
yes.
So it's no communication
None.
when a person is enraged.
No. How you gonna talk to a person that's enraged?
Right back to communication.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
It shows that they're no longer thinking.
No, they're not thinking. So what
And
does?
that's why it can't be just.
That's right.
Because he was not for reason.
That's right. That's right. Let us identify for the moment what the soul is displaying. Because that's the soul displaying something. You know that, right?
Chaos.
Unrest and misery.
I said it's displaying chaos.
That's right. It is displaying chaos.
Also, I remember saying somebody's saying temporary anger or like rage breeds temporary insanity. Like,
That's right. That's right. That's right. Come on, Bunch Ray.
Now you go back to color, it's superstition.
Oh, it's no question. It's no question. It's no question. Come on, my dear.
It's also showing a display of irrationality.
Right. Right. And remember, at this point, the soul is being outrageous, irregular, rash, because she's not under what? Control. So what you're seeing is the acting out of a soul not under control.
All the reasoning gone out the door.
Because of what? Superstition.
And it's on.
And greed.
Off of this.
Yeah.
You know, in today's modern psychological world,
Yeah.
they have what they call group thinking,
Right.
and they utilize it through media.
Yes. Yeah.
This goes back to Pilate's ability to manipulate the
Right.
entire mob
Yeah.
mentality.
Yeah.
That's why it is extremely dangerous
Yes.
to buy into trend thinking
Yes.
through the media.
Yes. Yes.
Because Europeans have become masters at doing it remotely now. They don't have to confront you face to face.
Right.
They can push a button and have an entire group of people
Yes.
meet at a rally, a protest site, and have you hooping and hollering with signs in the air for a cause that might end you up in conditions that you wouldn't have wished.
Yeah.
You have to be careful about it. Who are we letting influence
Yeah.
our thinking
Yeah.
through what we've adopted as our stance about what we believe in, and making God secondary
Yeah.
to what we know
Yeah.
to be true.
Yeah.
Please.
And look at our instructions now. Stay out of crowd.
Stay out of crowds, man. Real simple.
That's our instruction.
Real simple. You never know what spirit is in you.
Exactly. Yeah.
I believe it was Jesus. Jesus was considered, well, the way it looked in his book, that where it said, he was AJ. And they crucified him because of who he was and what he stood for. That's the way I look at it. And then when you look at the other, it's only two races of people. Back then, the Romans was now called European today. So it had to be a nationality involved in this whole situation while they called him one man. And it was Jesus. So it had to be a little bit more than that. It was just a little bit more than that.
Okay.
And crucified according to their law. If I may
Yeah.
correct
Yeah.
I was thinking that for the crowd so much, rage because they prefer Barabbas over Jesus, or because he had brought the priest and probably members of the crowd out.
Right. Right. That's a good point. They could have been that. Two things could have happened here. He could have did that and infused the crowd with them, who helped them to develop that attitude. See, when people, when we go to certain rallies and things like that,
Right.
you have to understand, the crowd is what is known as being peppered.
Mm-hmm.
Peppered with a certain thought to excite
Yes.
the situation so they can get out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, we look at it and say, man, people got out of hand. No, when you think about it, that was concocted to be like that.
That's right. That's right.
You gotta understand the mentality. Look, the prophet talks about European psychology.
Right.
It's all about control.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And to get me to see, to get you to see what happens when you get out of control.
That's right.
See, it's all about the inducement of fear.
That's right, Mo.
Inducement of fear.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think they control this with? Fear.
That's right, Mo.
That's the whole thing that we have to understand. That we are being controlled by the element of fear. Come on.
It's this made me think about manipulating. You know how we here, okay, we got a lot around the country of campaigning for the president and all that different stuff. And the commercials, how they'll manipulate you and play a piece of something that someone has said during a rally or speech or whatever, but they only give you a piece of it. They don't give you the beginning, they don't give you the end to understand why that piece of information was said. And that's how they do us, manipulate. They give you a piece, something they know that's gonna stir you up, right? But they don't give you the whole picture, and we don't bother to ask. That's our problem. We let it go with what they tell us instead of asking for the information and get stirred up.
Come on.
Politics.
Manipulation.
The priest was paid off.
Right.
The priests are the middleman.
Right.
So they was intoxicating the crowd to think like they think.
Right.
So that's why the crowd got ready, because they was being preached to.
Right.
Oh, no, we need to let Barabbas go. So they got their little money, they was, just go a certain way.
Right. But remember, that's right. But like it was said, remember, certain parties were bought off to incite that.
Mm-hmm.
It had to be those who had some kind of influence.
Right.
And they moving
Mm-hmm.
while these behaviors are taking place. See, they already know that when this is done, we do this. We push it. And if we would push it at this point, our desire is to get a response based on the emotional state that we're infusing into the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Because the key is get him emotional.
Yeah. Get them stirred up.
Stir it up. That's right. Yeah.
One thing, Brother Lee, the thing I was thinking about, see, at the beginning of this chapter, they were looking to receive something anyway.
Yes.
So it wasn't difficult to stir them up.
Right.
Because they had already accepted that they were going to run someone in the wild and their sins will be released.
Right.
So it didn't take much because they already was set up, they already was prepared to be relieved of their sins.
Right.
So all it took was someone to, just give someone, because that's what they were looking for.
Right.
In a frenzied state.
Right.
And that's what they were waiting for. So, I mean, as far as the money part, they might not even knew the money was there. Because that's what they already knew, that if somebody ran in the wild, they thought they were going to be relieved of their sin.
Right.
Now, how Barabbas did it, they probably, them people didn't care about that. Because they were looking forward to be relieved of their sin. Something like that.
So they can go send some more.
Yeah. As all those elements, more we can't take all these elements contribute to that condition.
Yes.
Come on.
It's not, I'm thinking about that part where you said the European psychology that's being played.
Yeah.
That's actually, I'm not gonna say that like what, but it's actually true.
Yeah.
Because I've read somewhere where they actually have a formula called problem, reaction, solution.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
They present a problem.
Yes.
We get a
The
reaction,
and they
right,
got
the solution.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
False flag.
It's manipulation.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you all are able to identify it because it's what we've been done to us today.
Yeah, exactly.
So the question is, but how, now the question is, since we are identifying that, how do we counteract?
But it's a
What do you do? What did he tell you? Nothing can be just that proceedeth not from reason. So what is that telling us? Reason. Before you act, you reason. Use your reason. Yes. 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 That's the piece. Understand what he's telling us these things for, because this is the same technique that was used yesterday and used today. It's only done in a more modern way.
That's right, that's right, that's right.
But the truth don't change.
And that's the genius in the prophet's divine instructions, because he reversed their psychology back on them.
When he allowed us to see it. Yeah. Come on, yeah.
It's Islam. You know, we all of us have recently bear witness to this same type of situation in these recent times. When they stormed the Capitol,
Ain't nothing changed.
that was all manipulated. There were those who had a thought that something, a seed was planted that something wasn't right, that the presidency had been taken.
That's right.
And there were those who wanted to see what they thought was some revenge or something else take place. So we can see how easily it was for them under that superstition, as well as us, man today, under the superstition of false pretense that somebody done something to you. Yeah. And you said it correctly. I mean, of course you did. Just repeating what the prophet told us. You got to stay out of crowds. Mm-hmm. One of the things about being in crowds is that crowds can be manipulated and they can turn in a drop of a hat. Somebody could put something out there, scream, and all of a sudden, the whole train of thought is gone, especially under conditions where you may think, this is something in my favor. That may be how it started out, but it all can turn, so we have to use our reason. We have to think what the prophet has said, use the law, and he said one other thing, you don't have to fight nobody for your freedom. Yes. So we don't get caught up in that type of thing, But they'll easily put the thought out there, especially among the age daddy. Black lives matter. So if you ain't careful, you be right there with them.
Well, they've also tried to get us to make a choice between what's taking place in the Middle East. Yeah, all of you gotta be careful with that. Yeah. Be careful what you say, be careful where you go, you got to be careful with that. Don't get in that, don't participate. Because you don't know what's going on. We are only getting a projection of what they want us to see. They're not showing what it is.
No, they ain't.
They're showing us what they want us to see and hope that we will make a determination within ourselves to pick a side.
Mm-hmm. The word is.
You know, they've used the tactic.
That conflict dates back years ago.
Oh, yeah, years ago.
This ain't nothing new.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tactic that they use, especially during wartime, is what they call it is propaganda.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You're going to see and hear propaganda being put out from each side.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
That's one way to get it.
Listen, I'm in accord with what you said. They're trying to make you choose. Don't choose.
Yeah.
Stay neutral. Because you can't win on either side.
Right.
If you choose the right, you're wrong. If you choose the left, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Don't choose.
But how can you choose with something that's reading the same thing?
Exactly.
You got to stay with that which is right.
Yeah, that's right.
If you got two that's wrong,
Yeah.
you can't choose no side.
Right.
You got to stay with that which is right.
That's one thing about leaders, and using reason don't always mean you got to say something.
Right.
See, sometimes we think because we use reason, we got to just come up with the right words. No, using reason is just be quiet and just don't address it. Because sometimes we feel like we have to say something. No, you don't. Because sometimes it ain't meant for you to say something. That's using reason.
Please, Mo.
Come on, here.
Come on, I just want to say, you just said, how can you choose something not right? If we know what's right, it's not just, it's war.
That's right.
Either way,
That's right.
it's war.
That's
It's
right.
not,
That's right.
it's not about it.
That's right.
And I gotta get my last bit in. Both
Oh,
of
you
them.
can't get it? Come on, sis. Come on.
Both of them claim to be holy people. That's what's ridiculous. Both of them supposed to be holy people. And they use that as a weapon too.
We're not pointing fingers.
No.
Nor are we making a judgment. But what we are doing is identifying what's taking place based on the understanding that our lives resting. That's what we need to focus on. Focus on the understanding about it, what the understanding based on what Allah has blessed you with. You know what the Lord self-breeds. If it comes in any form and it's breeding that, we know that's the Lord self. We don't get into that. We don't choose nothing because both of them are breeding what the Lord self breeds.
Yeah.
We got to make sure we use our reason and stay under the guidance of Allah.
That's it. That's it.
Peace.
Peace. Peace.
Yes, I'd like to thank our Grand Chief, who is the moderator for the Moore Council of Medical College on Bay for his instructions. I'd like to thank you all for your participation. Now I'd like to call the Assistant Grand Governors for Washington, D.C. to read the warning. Can you get her in there about this? So D. John Baker.
Islam.
Islam.
I give praise to Allah and honor to His holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, and honor to this our Sunday school and Koran class. Prophet warns all Muslims, governors ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, and freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice then must take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings towards the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card, button, cease wearing their turban or fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sins by order of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Peace.
Peace.
Islam, this portion of the reading dedicated to our sanctuary of our collection basket. There's two baskets there. Total collection and more to live. Also, overflow for now.
Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, through our Amen.